Ryan, another successful outing for you out of the pen. Inheriting that bases loaded mess there in the sixth, what was kind of your mentality going into there?
Just going one at a time, one batter at a time. I can't get the next guy out before he's up. So just doing what I can to get ahead on that batter and try and get him out, maybe a double play if I'm lucky.
Harris, you're out in left field today. It seemed like the wind was kind of blowing that way, especially on Walsh's grand slam. Is that something you would agree with? It was carrying balls today?
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly help, but Walsh is also an enormous, really strong dude, so, you know, I can't credit it just to the wind. You know, he's a good hitter, so, you know, he got into one today.
Can't be about 10 feet away from go-ahead grand slam there in the eighth after 2 home runs already on the day. What was kind of your approach to the plate, and you were seeing the ball so well?
Yeah, just try to get to the next guy. Good momentum there. Yeah, just missed it just a little bit.
In the eighth, you feel like you missed it a little bit? Was it more of getting under it rather than the wind knocking it down?
Yeah, just missed it.
What was Willie's message after the game? Obviously, you dropped your first Pac-12 series. The takeaways from good to bad, all of it. What were sort of what's the digest of everything?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it today, there's a lot of good. There's a ton of good, and you know, I think it comes down to just being locked in for one more pitch. You know, I think that you know, if you look at that game pitch by pitch, we were a handful away from really just blowing that game open. You know, and we came up short today, came up short yesterday. So you know, part of that is that it stings. You know, you hate losing, you hate dropping the series like that, especially when you feel like you had opportunities to win. But you know, baseball's a hard game, and you know, the only thing we can do now is look forward and tighten things up.
Obviously, you've been around college baseball such a long time. I think you entered with 2 of 12 today, and you have such a good game at the plate. That sort of mindset as a leader in the clubhouse, how do you sort of have that rub off on, you know, everyone else and set a tone in that way?
You know, I got to credit to the rest of the guys in the clubhouse. You know, they rub off on me. You know, there's a lot of good vibes in the clubhouse beforehand. They really help keep me loose and keep my head steady. You know, I have a tendency to press and put a lot of pressure on myself, and you know, seeing those guys, you know, joke around with me and, you know, just keep my head in a good spot is really helpful. And so, you know, I was able to come into today's game feeling clear and, you know, just trying to find a way to get on base today. And so, you know, part of that's because I have 35 dudes behind me.
And obviously, I mean, you guys want to win, but like when you're talking about, you know, making steps, a few pitches or plays here and there, being in the game, what does that do for you going forward? What does it do for the team going forward?
I think it helps us emphasize the importance of the singular pitch and the present moment. You know, you go into that game, and you know, there's a lot of times where you look at it and it's grand slam, 4-2 ball game, when in reality it's just this pitch. You know, and we tighten it up for this pitch, and then the next one, and we string a couple of those together. All of a sudden, you know, we're back in the game. And I think we did a pretty good job of that, and we just need to continue to build on that and continue to take it pitch by pitch. And eventually, we're gonna string them together, and we're gonna put up a lot of runs and a lot of zeros defensively. So, you know, I'm not overly worried about it there. It just kind of stinks that it happened today.
Taking on
Tyler's performance was going pretty well with the first 3 innings, and then kind of the 4th inning broke apart a little bit. What was going good in the first 3, and what kind of went wrong in the 4th?
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple things knock our way. You know, Team I is really composed up there. You know, had I think a pair of walks to start, which, you know, you never really want that to start off an inning. So yeah, I mean, you know, and he knows that. But you know, just try to limit the walks. A common thing with most of the games we played this year is a lot of the punishment we get is like because we walk guys or we do it to ourselves. So you know, that's just growing pains that you know, we had to address moving forward. Yeah, but like Harris said, I'm not really worried about Team I.
taking on the reigning conference champions is just another great team in the gauntlet you guys have gone through here early on in the season. How do you guys feel now that with conference play being opened up, maybe some less competitive teams through the rest of the way, how do you feel this start of the season has prepared you, and including the performance today, almost probably a few at-bats away from a sweep of the reigning conference champions. How do you think it prepares you for the rest of the season?
We're definitely prepared. Like Harry said, we're just kind of falling short here and there. Just piecing good at-bats together and good pitches. But sometimes get the short end of the stick, but we're definitely ready for our opponents coming up. And the name of the team, the rank of the team doesn't matter to us. We're ready to compete, do our best to win.
How do you turn the page off this kind of loss to be able to do that?
It's baseball. You win some, you lose some. And season's not over yet, so we're ready to come out Tuesday, come out next weekend, and pass that.
You guys started so strong offensively, and it seems like to some extent you've had to manage with a coming down to earth moment in the last week or so, maybe. What is that process like? Managing that within the clubhouse, not just as an individual, but with your teammates and sticking through those moments.
Yeah, I mean we're fine. It's baseball. You're gonna. Guys are high, guys aren't. Like it's early on in the season still. It's not like end of the world if you get out a couple times in a game. It's not like you have to like look yourself in the mirror type thing. It's just baseball.
And, you guys were really strong at home last season here, conference play. I think you swept your first couple of home series. The importance of winning at home, I think Willie has talked about that from time to time. Now that you've sort of dropped the first series here, first opportunity, how do you reset, for what's ahead?
I think this something important. While we are, I wouldn't definitely not worried, but I will say that this series burns. It sits in my stomach funny. I think I speak for everybody when I don't really like the way that this series went. Just because I know there are things I could have done to do better, and give ourselves a better chance to win. So, while we're not worried and while we have high hopes for the rest of the season, because it really is a marathon, it's not a sprint. We don't take series like this lightly. It's not something that we're just going to flush and happy-go-lucky. It's tomorrow's going to be a competitive, tough practice day to reset, but you never really lose that gut feeling like, God, we should have had that one. So, someone else is going to have to get the bad end of that burning that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we're going to carry that for the rest of the season.
Bloomquist talked about last week how he felt you guys were still a bit away from playing at your best baseball. How do you feel you guys came closer to that kind of notion this weekend? And are you hoping, obviously you're hoping to be able to get that back for should you see them again, but like what kind of track do you think you're on in terms of reaching your best abilities as a team?
Yeah, if we look at it on paper, I think this weekend we did a really good job of cutting the strikeouts down offensively. So that's a huge part of it, is competing throughout the entire at bat and giving yourself at least a chance to be a base runner. So I think that's actually a huge step in the right direction. And then going forward from there, it's timely hitting, it's confidence. I think we have one of the most intimidating lineups possibly in the nation, right? And it's we're getting really close to start walking around and acting like it. On paper we have a lot of guys with bat to ball skills and power. That's not something that any pitching staff wants to go up against. And we just need to get back to that. And I think we will. It's a hard game. It really is. So, but there's no one better prepared, no one I trust more than this offense that we got in the locker room right now.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys.